Wall Street has 110 billion with a B for a home buying spree. Matt Garland, NMLS number 58700, better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Welcome back to the channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and go to MG Bookstore. Look at what I have in my hand. Although Tooks ain't keeping up, but it's all good, right? But look what I have in the hand. Books. Go get the books. Go get the good books. Go get the books. MGBookstore.com. The newest book, Real Estate Investors Manifesto, out now. All right, Jordana.
Hello.
She's back.
Matthew.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.
You are back.
How are you?
Alive and blessed.
Alive and blessed.
We're here to deliver some news today.
I'm happy because you looked really angry earlier. You had your hat on. You had this
Yes,
all black.
I was cold.
Matt was ready for war. Matt got this news, and Matt's like,
Yes.
okay, we got to talk to the people.
I was cold.
Okay. Very.
So you got to wear the black hat like it's Brooklyn style,
Thank
baby.
God he took it off, you guys. But we mean business today. I love the business outfit. Very Brooklyn. Biggie and black. All Biggie and black over here.
I might wear black for a whole winter straight.
Okay,
Who
now.
knows? All right.
All right.
So let's go. Let's talk about this topic today. Let's bring up the article for the good folks to see, Tooks. Please shout out to The Real Deal for this article. Wall Street has 110 billion for home buying spree. You got all these hedge funds out here trying to make a lot of money in the single family rental space. So look, let's talk about this. Wall Street has amassed a considerable war chest to take advantage of the shifting housing market. Institutional investors has earmarked up to 110 billion to purchase or build single family rentals. The estimate comes from Zelman and Associates, which hailed the amount as the most ever accumulated by investors to acquire U.S. homes. Of the 110 billion, 30 billion has already been committed to properties being leased or developed. The money is enough for roughly 400,000 homes. Institutional investors already own about 700,000 single-family homes. That's only 3% of the nation's 20 million single-family rentals, according to Roofstock. But MetLife Investment Management predicts it will grow to 40% by 2023. That's a lot of properties. But look, scroll down to this line, right? It says the players are gearing up for a home buying spree in the 4.4 trillion single-family rental market. They're going to run the gamut. But including major names, right? Invitational Homes. What? Something's wrong, Tooks? No, I didn't know where you were.
We're good. Keep going.
Keep going? All right. So we got some of the major players, Blackstone, Invitational Homes, all this other good stuff, but there was something else on here that I wanted to read. If you scroll down, past this, investors are looking for better than the traditional property holdings. Okay, here we go. Institutional investors have already pumped $50 billion into the single-family rental market during the first 2 years of the pandemic, a.k.a. the bandemic. That's crazy. So, all right, I'm done with this article. You got anything to say about this article?
And we're going to drop it in the link so you guys can read it for yourself as well. But, all right, you're Mr. Multifamily, right? You're Mr. House Hack. You're
House Hack,
You're
yes.
Mr. This is what you do, the blueprint. You know how I feel about his books, y'all. I love it, but I hate it.
Yes.
So can you explain?
You're a hater.
Can you explain the single family play to me? Because to me, why, like, we covered Chase last time, remember? We're covering this now. It seems like they're leaning heavy into the single family market. Why?
To keep America's as renters, right? Think about it. Over the past 2 years, what has happened? Inflation has went crazy. There was so much money being dumped into the system because of COVID-19. People could work from home. So people in high-cost areas were able to go to these cheaper areas or more affordable areas and buy up single families, where if you really think outside of the tri-state area, multifamilies are not really that common like they are here in the tri-state growing up in, especially in New York City. But if you go to Atlanta, where do you see multifamilies at?
Right, you're right.
When you go to the outskirts, where do you really see them at? You don't see them. You'll see a duplex from time to time, or you'll see apartment complexes.
But not necessarily like a 3-family.
Yeah,
or,
so it's not common. So that's why you see the audience sometimes say, well, there's no 4 families or 3 families in my area. But here, it's a bunch of them.
There's everywhere.
They're everywhere. So the American dream is not multifamily. The American dream is single family, white picket fence, barbecues, and bar mitzvahs. And while home prices have continued to rise with inflation. A lot of people now, with interest rates rising, a lot of people have been boxed out of being able to acquire that dream.
Right.
But they're still going to rent.
You need to pay. You need a place to live, as you said.
You need a place to
You need a
live.
place to live.
And most people with families, young children especially, they don't want to live in a multifamily home, especially when the multifamily homes out of state, outside of like the tri-state area, are typically in the hood, right? Really think about it. They're typically in the hood. So where does the folks like in the Midwest or the South, where do they want to live if you have a couple dollars and you can afford the rent?
Suburbs.
You want to live in the suburbs.
Right.
You want a good school district. You want to be close to downtown. You want to be in a desirable neighborhood. Even if you can't afford to maybe own in the neighborhood, you can probably still afford to rent in that same neighborhood. So single families are to play.
So now, should the small time investors, right, the mom and pop investors, should we be following the plays of the JP Morgan? Should we be leaning into single families now too? Like, what's the dollar breakdown?
I think so. Single family, here's some of the benefits. You have longer. You have tenants staying longer. There's less turnover, right? Because once a family is comfortable and they have enough space, they typically don't want to. They don't want to move, especially if you are giving them a good product. You know, there's no issues in the house, so why would they leave? So that's a pro for a single family house. Single family homes are typically cheaper than multi-family homes too. So
It's a lower entry point.
So it's a lower entry point, not just for institutional investors, but for the everyday mom and pop investor as well. So the build to rent thing, if you really pay attention, building materials were more expensive. There was more delays with building homes. There wasn't enough homes being built. So now it's so crazy that you see a lot of these big institutional investors, instead of flipping those homes, then they're like, well, we can just keep those and hold on to them. And if we build more volume, we're still going to get the brakes on the construction costs because they're building at a certain level. Why not just hold them? Because rent is up.
Yeah.
And you're going to make more return on your money. And with the housing market being where it's at right now, is going through a correction. It has higher interest rates. Your buyer pool is also has shrunk because people just can't afford today to pay what you would probably want for it. So why not keep it on your books and just rent it out and make some money?
I have to definitely check my privilege as a New Yorker because I'm always thinking about multifamily. You know, the starting price in New York, you're looking at $800,000, and that's like a trap house in New York. That's nothing like
100%.
You know,
it's definitely. But again, in New York or tri-state, you can get multifamilies in great areas too.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a certain type of bread up here, you can still go in a great neighborhood, but it might be dominated with multifamilies and duplexes, but it still will be an A1 neighborhood. It's not, you have more options of multifamilies up here. But the single family, but just in general, regardless of the property type that they're investing in, why I wanted to do this video was to shed light on why we need to continue to.
Because they're investing.
Buy, right? They're buying, right?
That's a lot of money, Matt.
No, really think about it. $50 billion. They spent $50 billion on real estate in the first 2 years of the pandemic, and now they have $110 billion. And according to this article, they're slating within the next 8 years, their market share in the single-family market is going to be up to 40%, which is a huge increase from where it's at now. So that just goes to show you that, look, buy while you can now, because institutional money, which is going to continue to grow, they have an appetite for this right now, and they're boxing out the middle class. In my opinion,
I understand. Like we're having fun, we're talking, but this is really scary. You know, I think that
why?
Because it's basically saying that America is just going to be forced to rent. Like if you're not paying attention to these kind of articles, you can't compete with these big boys.
Oh no, you can't compete at all. But you can still go out there and execute.
You still have to execute, but I definitely think this is like a warning to people to wake up and pay attention.
This is like that shot in the air before you before you go for the headshot.
Right.
Like let me warn you real quick.
There's a kill shot coming real soon.
Nah.
It's gonna be so harder for regular people who have a little bit of money who wanted that American dream. You know, how are you going to compete when everything's for rent?
Well, people are upset at this. People are demanding that, you know, the government does something about this to stop institutional money from buying up all the single families. Look, this is a capitalist society.
It is what it
And
is.
ultimately, me personally, I think if you start doing things like this, then it can hurt us more than it can help us. It sucks, you know what I'm saying, for the average everyday person. But ultimately, it's a free world.
Mm-hmm.
So the same way they have the opportunity to invest in real estate is the same opportunity we have.
You have, yeah.
We have to invest in real estate. And why this is important to follow to me is because everybody's talking about the market. It's going to crash. We should wait. We should do this. Or, but don't do this. But the big boys ain't stopping.
Right.
They're not stopping. They're actually about to spend the most money that they've ever spent
Right.
during contraction. These are lessons. Like they say, success leave clues, and I'll wrap this up because I know Tooks
is already on
is
this.
already wrapping us up, right? So I'll wrap it up. I say all this to say is that success leave clues,
Mm-hmm.
and when you have these type of like clues that's being left right in front of us, for me, it's like, all right, increase, because during downtimes, during while things are on sale, during while there's blood on the street, while there's a recession, what are the biggest real estate investors doing right now? They're continuing to invest. So why should we stop, whether it's investing or buying your first home or whatever it is? They're telling us to play. The play is real estate.
It's right there.
It's right in front of us.
It's
The
right
play
there.
the play is real estate. Real estate has always been the play.
And especially with today, internet, the information is there with you, with EYL. The information's here, so wake up.
Execute.
Execute.
Execute. Execute, because the big boys are going to continue to execute. What's your thoughts on this? Some of you might hate me in the comments because I'm not mad at the corporate or institutional investors.
Yeah, man, what happened to the small man?
I'm for the small man and woman too. I'm a capitalist. I'm a compassionate capitalist, but I'm a capitalist.
Compassionate
And
capitalist.
I'm okay with people. Look, all of us who are watching this right now. Now wrap it up on this, okay? We all can put our money together and invest and do big deals and buy hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of rentals and stuff as a community as well. We have the same opportunities that these folks have. So that's all I have to say on this topic. I'm done. Leave your comment. What you think? Are they wrong for doing this? Should they be stopped? What's your thoughts? Matt Garland here, NMLS number 58700, but better known as MG the Mortgage Guy. Peace.